Hey there, Patrick here, and I'd like to welcome you to the first video of our mini class series, which is all about 3 lessons from spending 7 figures on Facebook ads. What we put together is a short case study based training series that will focus on 3 crucial aspects of Facebook marketing. And I can tell you, if you implement what we're going to cover, you're a big step closer to running profitable campaigns on Facebook. But first of all, let me briefly introduce myself. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Patrick Dermack. I'm the co-founder of AdBaker, a white hat performance Facebook marketing agency based in Cologne, Germany. And as you can see, we're spending a little bit of money on Facebook ads, even though we are working with big brands like Kingston or Porsche. Our core business is still affiliate marketing. CPA marketing is not only the origin of our company, but also a core component of our business today. Here's another cool thing. In June 2017, we partnered up with iStack Training to do our first Facebook performance marketing conference in Berlin, where we gathered $100 million of ad spend on stage. It was a fantastic event, and in case you missed it, make sure to mark December 8th in your calendar, because that's when the next Facebook conference is taking place in Bangkok. Okay, so let me walk you through 3 deadly pitfalls you should absolutely avoid on Facebook. Number 1, stop working with low quality audiences. We all know custom audiences and lookalike audiences, right? And I also think that it's not a big secret that it is custom audiences and lookalike audiences that make Facebook so powerful. In case you don't know what that is, a custom audience is essentially an audience that you create. For example, it can contain all your customers or website visitors, and the lookalike audience is an audience similar to an existing seed audience. Mostly it's a custom audience. So essentially you can go to Mark Zuckerberg, give him a list of your, let's say, 3,000 customer and tell him, Mark, show me Facebook users that are similar to my 3,000 customers. That's a really efficient way of acquiring new customers and creating and launching Facebook campaigns. And since the origin of a lookalike audience is mostly a custom audience, here's the thing: seed audiences matter. At our Facebook Mastery Live in Berlin, we had the head of performance marketing at Facebook on stage. Maria Claudia was really a huge honor, and she emphasized the importance of high quality seed audiences. And I think that every Facebook marketer out there can confirm what she said. Because the quality of your seed audience determines the quality of your lookalike audience. Let me say that again because it's really important. The quality of your seed audience determines the quality of your lookalike audience. If your seed audience sucks, your lookalike audience will suck as well. But if your seed audience is great, your lookalike audience will be great too. So the question is, how do you build a high quality custom audience? A high quality seed audience? You probably heard that 1,000 times: upload your customer list. You don't say. It's definitely correct, but there are more sophisticated ways to do it. And that is essentially going after different customer segments. For example, a premium segment of your customer base. Let's say you're selling different products. You have low ticket items, you have high ticket items. Let's say you have 5,000 low ticket customers and 500 high ticket customers. The quality is more important than the quantity. Therefore, you might want to go after the 500 high ticket customers instead of the 5,000 low ticket customers if you want to sell high ticket items at the end of the day all day long. Or if you have a Shopify store, you can provide Facebook with the seed audience of all customers with a high checkout value only. For example, all customers who spend at least $100 for products. Then too, you can go after different product categories. Let's say you have a Shopify store and you're selling different beauty products, and there's one anti-aging cream that you want to promote. So you can also just provide Facebook with a list of buyers, of all the customers within the anti-aging category, instead of all your customers. right? So segmenting different product categories is also great. And 3, test different time frames. You will see different results if you create lookalike audiences based on a customer list or customers that purchase a product within the last 7, 30, or 180 days. Split test that. And what you're seeing here is essentially a combination of all 3 strategies, going after premium segments, specific product categories, and testing different time frames. This is a campaign with multiple ad sets that we ran in the beauty space, and as you can see, the results are really great. We had a CPA of $37, which really isn't much if you consider that the beauty space is one of the most competitive niches on Facebook, with typically really high CPMs, really high acquisition cost, and what you're seeing here are lookalike audiences and cold traffic. Number 2, stop confusing the algorithm. The algorithm is really complex, but there are 3 things that you really have to know. Number 1, avoid changes to an existing ad set. This is really a very, very basic rule. Never make changes to an existing ad set. The least harmful thing to change is the bid, then the budget, so that's not super bad, but still some learnings will get lost if you make changes. And the by far worst thing to change is the targeting and making changes to creatives, because that resets some of the learnings. What Facebook does here, and that's just a technical term, but I just want to tell you what actually happens. The algorithm creates a new object ID, and that again resets some of the learnings. So if you need to make changes to the image, the copy, or let's say the audience, always duplicate and relaunch. Never make changes to a live ad set or ad. Then if you want to make these changes, or if you upload ads, do it within the first 3 hours after midnight of the ad account time zone. The closer to midnight, the better, because that's about the time when the algorithm starts planning the next day. It's essentially looking at the available advertising space, the budget allocated per active ad set, and so on. So if you make changes throughout the day, the algorithm is essentially losing some of its learnings as well, because it needs to recalculate in the middle of the day. And number 3, optimization needs data. Don't kill your campaigns too early. I'm just quoting Facebook here. Facebook says that the algorithm needs sufficient information no matter what your campaign goal is. The technical term here is enough data points. So for example, let's say you launched a conversion campaign, you want to generate leads, and the 3 things that the algorithm needs to gather sufficient data is time, enough ad spend, and the right optimization goal. Therefore, you have to allocate enough budget to get 25 conversions per ad set in 1 week. A couple of months ago, Facebook required you to have these 25 conversions per ad set in 1 day, but the algorithm got better, so it's enough if you have 25 conversions per ad set in 1 week. If you're getting fewer data, then there's no calibration. Facebook or the algorithm cannot distinguish between a converter and a non-converter because, not enough conversions have happened. There are not enough learnings that could be gathered. So if you're not feeding the algorithm sufficient data, you have to do 2 things. You have to increase the budget and or change the conversion goal. So for example, if you optimize for the pixel event purchase, you have to optimize for an event that's getting more data, more data points, for example, the event add to cart. And once Facebook gathered enough learnings about the add to cart event, you can just, kind of go back and optimize for an event that's deeper in the funnel. Number 3, stop abandoning manual bidding. Now, bidding is hugely important because now that you have a carefully selected audience in place, the point is not screwing everything up with the wrong bidding strategy. So when you're creating a new campaign, you're essentially joining a huge worldwide auction. You will be competing with hundreds of thousands of advertisers to buy what Facebook is selling. Guess what? It's ad space. But the thing is, the highest bidders will typically get the most and the best impressions. So what you have to make sure is that you're getting impressions and that you're also getting high quality impressions. Here's what Facebook does. So let's say you launch a campaign. Let's say you want to sell this handbag here to women, and you're going after a certain audience. What Facebook does is segmenting your audience. It's putting that audience or different segments into different buckets. So for example, bucket number 1 is the ultimate premium audience, where Facebook thinks based on the past user history and all the data that the algorithm gathered, that bucket number 1 is the audience that's most likely to convert, most likely to purchase. Then we have bucket 2, still good, but the audience in that bucket is only likely to purchase. And then we have audience number 3, bucket number 3, somewhat likely to purchase. Still good, but not as good as audience 2, and audience or bucket 2 is not as good as bucket number 1. So the big question is, how do you actually reach the audience inside bucket number 1 at the lowest possible price? One of the things that you can do to make sure that you reach that audience is leveraging different bidding strategies. Essentially, there are 2 different bidding modes. There's automatic bidding and manual bidding. With automatic bidding, you're not running into any delivery issues because Facebook is adjusting your max bid sort of automatically in the background, but you also have less control. Therefore, we suggest manual bidding. It's not always the perfect bidding strategy, but still it is like 90% of the time. So the question is, what's the perfect bid for your campaign? There are different strategies here, for example, starting with a low manual bid and then increasing it slowly, or starting with a really high manual bid and then decreasing it slowly. Here's what we recommend. Go after a max bid and select 3 to 4 times the suggested bid. This will keep your competitors out, as they will likely auto bid or have a lower manual bid. It will push their bid up, and ideally you're forcing them to move on to another demographic. And the budget that you should have in place is 5 to 10 times of the suggested bid, so the algorithm gets enough learnings. And really important, if it works, keep it, don't touch it. We just covered that before. Ideally, you should never touch an ad set that works. Even though the bid is the least harmful thing to change, don't do it, please. And to show you how powerful bidding can be, this is a testimonial or feedback that we got from our first Facebook conference. It's about a guy who was able to scale his campaign from $3,000 to $30,000 in revenue in 6 days. Don't know how much profit he made, but seems like he was pretty happy, and even said that his campaign surpassed $40,000. I think that was like a few days later, and he just said that this shit is amazing and you guys opened my eyes to new horizons. I'm not showing you this to tell you how awesome we are, but to show you how powerful bidding can be. That's the only thing that he changed, and his campaign really took off in 6 days. So I can really encourage you only to play with automatic and with manual bidding, and to really test manual bidding, because I'm pretty sure that you're probably going after automatic bidding only, or maybe you went after manual bidding and you made changes that were not really necessary, maybe not so good, or your manual bid was too low. That's a strategy that we recommend. Test it just as this guy, and who knows, maybe it will work, maybe it will not work. That's what we have to figure out. But generally speaking, I can just really encourage you, because manual bidding is really, really powerful and used by very few marketers only, so that can give you a huge competitive advantage. There's one more thing I'd like to address, because it's a question that I get asked very often, and the question is, does Facebook marketing still work? I think it's not a big secret that Facebook marketing isn't getting easier. That's the bad news here. There are many advertisers out there, and the amount of available ad space is not as rapidly growing as it should. However, with the right strategies, you can still make Facebook advertising work. Gaining a competitive advantage is not that hard as you might think, if you learn from a trusted source, if you take action, and if you adopt the right mindset. And in my personal opinion, now is the perfect time to start. You don't need tons of money to get your campaigns up and running. Plus, there are tons of businesses and affiliate marketers out there who made Facebook advertising work. And believe me, they are no smarter than you and me. So remember, Facebook marketing still works, and it's really the perfect time to start. Okay, so that's about it. We covered a lot. And in the next video, we'll cover how to master retargeting, which is, in my opinion, the easiest way to boost your ROI. Really looking forward to it. And hey, leave a comment below this video. I'd really like to know what you think about what we covered today. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out. I'm really happy to help. Talk soon, and I'll see you in the next video.